Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Howdy y'all, Rebel Laughlin here. We're on Talking Heads on the USA Global TV and Radio Network. It's my third show today. We've been back to back to back with the Corner Bookstore and the Wise Ones and now Talking Heads. So let's go ahead. I have my slides here. Let's get them lined up and ready to roll. There they go. My topic today is the real driver of aging. You know, what is when the rubber meets the road, what is the real thing that we should be paying attention to? There's so many causes of aging, and there's 10 or 12 hallmarks, and they all have some aspect of the choices we make every day. We'll get into this, but when I look at it, how can I boil it down where it makes a little bit more sense? Because there's so many ways you can say the same thing, and sometimes it clicks a little bit better in a different way. As always, we're live streaming. We also have a podcast version afterwards on audio, but we're live streaming on Amazon Fire, E360 TV, several channels on YouTube, personal and business, Android TV, social media, and more. And as always, my shows are for awareness and education. I can be found at redolaughlin.com. It's red, just like the color RED. O'Laughlin, OLAUGHLIN.com. My books are there. My blogs are there. My videos are there. Contact information, social media, all that information is available there. When I look at the real drivers of aging and where that information can be found at, obviously, it's live here today, but if you miss the show and you catch something, you can always go to YouTube, USA Global TV, and register for a live show that's in the future, or go ahead and connect with the archived on the playlist and see any show that we've done in the past. My specialty is root cause analysis. I look at it from a cellular, biological, and chemical perspective. And I try to take my research at the cellular level in the body, molecular level, and say, what's going on? What causes this thing to happen? In some cases, it might be a biological operation. In most cases, it's a chemical reaction. Well, chemical reactions can be sped up. They can be slowed down. They can be interfered with. And so I want to take that information and translate it for people that they can make decisions about their own health, with one caveat. If you're on any prescription meds or you have any kind of ailment or whatever, talk to a professional first before you just start making changes. So I've tried to focus on what helps, but I also make people aware of what can make a situation worse. So rather than just health and wellness, I consider myself a decision support manual for aging. That's my specialty. I'm a researcher and not ever been in the medical or pharmaceutical fields. My first degree was chemistry. I have 5 academic degrees. I never got a chance to practice chemistry early on because I got an invitation to Vietnam. But I use it literally every single day. I'm talking with my good buddy, ChatGPT, and we're diving into the world of the human body and looking at what's going on. And it's been a godsend for me to be able to understand what's happening. Got a bunch of professional certifications, primarily in the areas of quality engineering, reliability engineering, and logistics engineering. I spent 31 years in the Navy, flew for 16 years, retired as a captain, naval flight officer, and I mentioned earlier I got an invitation to Vietnam. I also got an invitation to Bosnia. But my focus is cause and effect relationships. Treat the cause, fix the problem. If you treat symptoms, the cause may fix itself over time, but generally speaking, you can't plan on it. Personal notes, been married 57 years, coming up this summer will be 58. 2 kids, 3 grandkids, and our first great grandson just turned 2 last month. Best-selling author, 7 books, independent publisher, over 50 books for other people. Distinguished Toastmaster, writer. I have over 1,000 original content articles on LinkedIn, most of them dealing with some aspect of health and wellness, with focus on longevity, age-related diseases. International TV host. This past year, 2025, was the number 3 host on the USA Global TV and Radio Network, and I was ranked as the number 1 most valuable team player on the network. So I'm looking at the real driver of aging. What drives us to age? And I'm looking at how damage in the body versus repair of the body goes. Information's for educational purposes. I have a book coming out called Aging Sucks. I'll be talking a little bit more about that down the road. But the book I've already written, Longevity Secrets for Healthy Aging, does provide a lot of good information. Disclaimer. Today and all my talking head presentations that I've done are educational. They're for awareness, information only. They do not constitute any medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Anything that I reference with regard to molecular compounds, chemicals, etc., are strictly in a research context. And absolutely, please, don't hesitate. Contact a qualified medical or professional about your health before making any changes to it whatsoever. Okay, so let's get kind of started a little bit this. My next book, Aging Sucks, I expect out hopefully by summer. I think it's doable. I have a webinar series that's going to take the aspects of this book and take it from a 30,000-foot overview right down to ground zero. What can you do today to help counter this, improve this, whatever it may happen to be? But I'll be looking at aging, health, disease, heart, brain, pain. Those are the primary areas that I'll be concentrating my webinars on. I'd like to start those in March. That's kind of what I feel I can do. Aging doesn't have to suck, so why do we allow it? There's just a lot going on in our bodies. This causes that, that causes that. We don't know. But what we do know, why not start giving them a little bit of attention? Because you fix this a little bit, you learn a little bit more, you fix that a little bit, and before you know it, things change. Biologically, chemically, damage accumulates. It's 24/7. It never ends. And our bodies are really unique in the ability to fix something that's wrong. You catch a cold, 3-4 days later, 2 weeks later, depending, you're over it. Generally speaking, if you have something for, in 10 days, it's either going to get better, it's going to get worse, or it's going to stay the same. If it gets better, great, you've conquered it. If it gets worse, maybe now's the time to make your doctor's appointment. If it stays the same, maybe that's also a good time to make your doctor's appointment because your body's immune system is not working as well as it should. But biology keeps score. We have a good ability to repair, but as we get older, those abilities tend to decline a little bit. We just can't fix things as fast as we used to. We get tired faster. We don't have the strength. We don't have the balance. We have more fatigue in our brain. Just a lot of things are happening. And so getting older is inevitable. That's going to happen. But our biology is dynamic in the fact that the damage and repair compete against each other. And so if I want to minimize the damage, I got to maximize my repair capabilities. And when I start aging, that repair capability, is not the same as a 25-year-old. And so I have to, what else can I do? What hacks can I take? What things did I never do before that I should be doing now that will really and truly help me? So aging accelerates significantly when the damage to your body, it really and truly over exceeds the repair capability. And that's a fairly good statement. Everyday damage happens incrementally. Everyday repair happens incrementally. But who's going to win? And this week it may be repair. This week it may be damage. It's not a constant line. It's going to be an ebb and a flow. So today I want to talk a little bit about what some of these causes of damage are and the risks involved, and what we can really do. So stand by. Let's talk about the causes, repair functions, etc. Okay, one of the major ones, driver of aging, is oxidation. We talk about inflammation at the cellular level. When it's left unchecked, then boom, you have oxidative stress. That's if you were to compare it to like a nice shiny bike sitting outside on the back porch, and all of a sudden, it's been sitting there 3 months. It's been rained on. It's been a lot of things happening. I start seeing a little bit of rust occur on the chrome. That's oxidative stress. That's beyond that level of just plain inflammation. That's damage in the body. This is occurring all the time. We have a thing which you call ROS, reactive oxygen species. Right in the cells at the cellular level, we're generating a lot of stuff. And when that generation gets going, inflammation is coming out as one of the byproducts. And normally our bodies can handle that. But if I end up with an imbalance of free radicals and antioxidants, so there was a free radical is it's a molecule, and all of a sudden it loses an electron, it goes crazy, and it looks all over for an electron. It wants to be stable, and when it's stable, it's just in there. It's in null state 3, and it's happy. But when it loses an electron, it's like you're pulling your hair out. You're just going crazy. So they reach over there, grab electron off another molecule. Okay, he's happy again. But this is going on all the time. Well, the foods we eat provide antioxidants. Our body has other ways of helping that too. But these antioxidants, they donate electrons. Okay, there's a molecule over there that's going crazy. Here's one. Okay, you calm it down. And so we have this imbalance, but normally we can keep it under control. But these molecular electrons that are stripped, and if they don't see some electron to come replace it, the molecule is damaged, it starts to decay. A lot of things start to happen. So if I start building up this inflammatory condition in my body at the cellular level, and it's chronic and it's low level and it's there unchecked forever, that is usually the genesis of nearly every single disease we see in our bodies. And it's such an easy thing to control. There's a blood test called C-reactive protein, CRP, and it will measure the level of inflammation in your body. It won't tell you where, but it'll tell you in your body where you have high, low, whatever. I get an extra, it's one of the ones I add to my annual physical every year. But you can go down to the local lab and have it done. It's not a very expensive one, but it tells you a lot about what's going on. So if it comes back and you can't measure your inflammation, that's usually where mine is most of the time, then you're probably okay. But if it comes back and it's fairly high, maybe you ought to knock on the door and say, hey doc, this is what I got. What do you think it is? But this inflammation, this inflammatory condition left unchecked, we have a lot of things that cause it. Our immune system, when it's challenged, we don't have the ability to repair. Our mitochondrial inefficiency, things happen there right in the mitochondria of the cell. We end up with high glucose, a lot of high sugar in the bloodstream for a long period of time. So there's many, many causes of this oxidation. And we have the ability to control it, but for whatever reasons, we don't. So risks are many: cardiovascular disease, cancers, neurodegenerative diseases. Aging in general happens because of all of these things. So the antioxidants provide electrons, stabilizes our molecules, but it requires, constant attention. We can't go, 2 weeks on vacation and not pay attention to what's going on. Our lifestyle choices, that's our sleep, our stress management, our exercise, our diet, etc. All of those things have a major impact on the aging processes in our body. But we also have hydration. We got to remain hydrated. Moderate, if alcohol, a lot of studies are showing now, maybe you don't need alcohol at all. There's some back and forth. Smoking, obviously, we don't need that. Toxins abound everywhere. It's amazing how many places those things are found. Okay, we talk about exercise, but sometimes we overexert ourselves. Now we're cranking out inflammatory conditions all over the place, and we expect our bodies to maintain it without giving it additional nutrients and things. If you're obese, if you're deficient on certain nutrients, lots and lots and lots and lots of things can create an oxidative effect inside our bodies. Another area to be concerned about is called glycation. And it's something simple as sugars sticking to proteins. They shouldn't do that, but it causes damage. And that usually happens because we cook our foods at high temperatures, usually called frying or roasting. So if you like French fries, that's a problem if you're having it continually, because the way the high temperature oil fries the French fries, that tastes so good. You put barbecue on the grill, that black char mark tastes so good. Those are things, glycation. high blood sugar levels in the body give you a similar one. Processed foods, insulin resistance. All of these things are giving our bodies this thing, what they call advanced glycation end products. Our bodies form these things as a result of either eating foods that are fried or roasted or barbecued, or because of our insulin levels or other things. It causes inflammation. And one of the places we see it probably faster than anywhere else is in our skin. We start seeing our skin age, wrinkles appear. Those things happen much faster than our peers. Now, sometimes you can blame it. Well, for 20 years I used to go sit out in the sun. Well, maybe that's a cause, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's a combination of other things too. But the advanced glycation end products, they increase the risk of vascular stiffness, atherosclerosis, kidney damage. They can complicate type 2 diabetes. Definitely have an impact on your cognitive ability. But our dietary choices, if we're eating a lot of foods that are processed versus raw, or let's say more fruits and vegetables versus fats and carbohydrates, there are just the choices you have. They have to be intelligent, or they should be. They don't have to be. You're in charge of your body. You make your own decisions. But in reality, they should be better choices. And we should be able to lower our sugar, and that's the carbs. Antioxidants, cooking choices. Personal care products are just amazing how many toxins are available in those. Read the labels. Blood sugar control. Two things that can very definitely help. That aspirin I wasn't really aware of until I was doing some research, but apparently aspirin has the ability to go in there and disrupt this glycation end product a little bit. There it used to be thought that advanced glycation end products were there forever, but there's some studies out now that polyphenols and aspirin again have some impact in awareness perspective for right now. Okay, this is a little bit more complex topic here. In our mitochondria, we have what's called an electron transport chain. And this is in the one end of the mitochondria to the other. There are certain things that happen. Certain chemicals come in, they donate electrons. The electrons create a situation where protons are created. The protons will eventually end up coming back in to where they originally came from, but they were attached to a molecule. And so your electrons and your protons are kind of changing places. So you have this electron transport chain that's going on. And the end result is I get this thing called adenosine triphosphate. That's the power our body, it's like gasoline for our body. So it's our body's power support. So if I take one molecule of glucose, that's our sugar, carbohydrate, it'll generally, a little bit more, a little bit less, 26, 34 units of ATP. But that's with glucose. If I change it to ketones, and I'll talk about that in just a second, it might be 22, 24, maybe 26, a little bit less. But the glucose transport chain requires about 10 different chemical reactions to happen. But the ketone only requires about 3. It's about 30% more effective and efficient in being able to do that. So if I start having a problem in my mitochondria with my electron transport chain, and I have a dysfunction there, I start increasing the output. I talked earlier about reactive oxygen species. This is the inflammatory products that come off of the process by which we are manufacturing in our cells, in our mitochondria, this ATP. So when that starts going up, the ATP goes down, the oxygen levels in the cells, which also which we need, become less and less, the cellular respiration. And we start experiencing failures over the body. Now, it may be in the brain, it may be in our kidney, it may be somewhere else. It just sort of depends. But what you end up seeing is that the high energy tissues, which our brain, our hearts, our muscles, those are the ones that generally get hit first. But what we see first off is fatigue. We just don't have the energy, endurance we used to have. There's a term called sarcopenia. You get older and you hold your muscle up and it's not the same. Or maybe there's more muscle hanging down underneath than there is on top. That's another problem. But basically, you're losing muscle, sarcopenia. You end up with, again, from the electron transport chain, neurodegenerative diseases. And that makes a lot of sense because you're transferring these electrons to make energy. That energy needs to go into the brain. And if it's not getting there, we start having problems. Cardiovascular disease, vision and hearing losses, seizures, uh, ketones. If you switch, you drop your carbs. Well, the ketones are going to significantly reduce the number of steps that your cells have to do to create ATP. That's good. Makes a little bit less, but it does it faster. Uh, but I kind of view this thing as I'm having energy failure over time. Let's say you go out and you crank up your car every single day, boom, 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 and now all of a sudden you get out there and well, what is that? The starter or is that the battery? Next day, and then it starts. So you kind of get an indication, and that's kind of what the sarcopenia, the fatigue, hearing loss, all of these things are starting to say we're having some issues in our mitochondria. Communications, we talked about this a fair amount of times. When I have damage with my body's communication, I'm talking about you have the cell, the mitochondria that sends from the DNA to the RNA, and it says, go do this. It sends it to the kidney cell or to the brain or to the liver. And here's the message. Well, sometimes that message isn't translated the right way. So I have a communications breakdown for a reason. It may be stuck somewhere in the tube, that electron, or the pathway for that electron. So now I have, going from one part of my body to another. Maybe it gets to the end product, but now my liver or my kidney doesn't have the receptor quality it used to have, and it interprets it wrong. So I get hormonal issues, I get circadian disruptions, I get oxidation occurring, and so I end up with failures all over my body because of these things. The receptor level at the cell where it's going to, it's the departure cell where it's misinterpreted. Get the internal pathways, lots of areas for problems to occur, and the causes are many. Radiation, oxygen deprivation, toxins, heat, and more. There's just a lot of issues out there that create. And again, aging is a big one. You just get older, and that's one of the hallmarks of aging is this intercellular communication degradation. So probably one of the best well-known ones for this communication issue is cancer. But we also have metabolic diseases. And again, the best one known there is diabetes, type 2. Alzheimer's, other neurodegenerative diseases, autoimmune diseases, cardiovascular, and more. So the communications, if it's not maintained, the molecules aren't getting the right message at the right time, or they're not interpreting it properly because they get the right one. They're just not fulfilling the promise that they're supposed to do. So aging is the leading cause, but you got mutations, you got toxins, you got viruses, and we generally don't talk very much about pathogens and things like that. But they're there and they create problems. In some cases, even the prescription medicines we take create some problems. So it's a lot of issues going on there. So by cellular communication breakdown, what options do I have? Make sure that my choices that I make every single day for exercise, diet, stress management, sleep are good choices. A lot of ways of maintaining our stem cells. These are ones that can go in and actually replace a cell that's died or has been taken out of service. Autophagy, one of my favorite topics. I try to fast 72 hours every month. Most of the time I do. There's sometimes I don't. But here Lent is coming up very shortly. Last year I started Lent with a 200-hour fast. I ended Lent with a 200-hour fast. But there's some people out there that'll fast a lot longer than 200 hours. But again, anytime you're fasting, if it's something you've done for a while, you kind of know, you pay attention. But if you haven't done fasting before, that is something that you have to really kind of work your way into. But the benefit is that autophagy is a process in our bodies by which, when I fast, the body now has a chance to actually repair itself. And one of the things that it does is this process allows each cell to dump all of the trash out of the cell skeletal compartments. And that trash can either be literally disposed of, through our body's lymphatic system, or our bodies have that capability in some cases. Okay, you just need another 30-second nut. You put one on there and that thing is now fully functional again. So we have a repair and a recycle system, but the body has to be in autophagy for that to happen. So let's say you fast for 70, it usually starts about 18 hours incrementally. At about 72 hours, you're in full autophagy mode. So let's say you fast for 100 hours. Now your body has a chance. The cells are literally replenished as brand new. In 72 hours, your immune system is generally reset back to zero. In 120 hours, 5 days, your beta cells in your gallbladder, no, blank, but your beta cells, pancreas, are now refurbished. So lots of things happen with the refurbishment and the repair because you're not allowing the body to have to digest and do other things. Nutrients, if you're deficient in nutrients, it becomes a problem. But some prescription drugs, again, create problems in the body. But again, any prescription drug has side effects because it's not as good as the original, whatever you happen to have. Immune boosters, a lot of those out there, natural ones, a lot of herbal options. Again, cellular communication breakdown, herbal options. Go to Google, go to ChatGPT, go to YouTube, lots of places there. Probiotics, super critical. You want your gut to be as healthy as possible. ALA, alpha lipoic acid, PQQ, pyrroloquinoline, one of the, I think, probably the most perfect molecule for the brain because it can reactivate itself, a single molecule, 25,000 times. Fatty acids, again, your body's need CoQ10 and magnesium. That is a powerhouse for our mitochondria. A couple, three different kinds of mushrooms do a great job at this helping the cellular communication disruptions. Okay. Just talked a minute ago about probiotics. We can have what's called dysbiosis in our gut. And when we have that, our gut is 80% of our immune system. So if I have a problem with my gut, I probably have a problem in my immune system. Again, it's a damaged area. And when I start looking at the gut brain, they tell you our gut is our second brain. There's a lot of things that are very common between our gut and our brain, and there's communications going back and forth all the time. And so if the gut is sending the wrong messages to the brain or the brain is sending the wrong messages to the gut, we end up with some issues. We end up with autoimmune suppression. We end up with chronic inflammation, depression. A lot of issues that you wouldn't think that because I have a stomach ache, it's causing depression. But there's a lot of problems going back and forth, chemically speaking. And again, we can control our gut by our lifestyle choices, the foods we choose. Now, sometimes you take an antibiotic and it's going to destroy your gut for a week. So you got to be real careful. If you're on an antibiotic, talk to your doctor about a probiotic. Look out there for prebiotics. These are kind of like fertilizer for the gut. These are things that make your flora, your fauna in your gut more active and helpful. Toxins are all over the place, and with our nanotechnology today, you put on some cream on your skin and you go right into the bloodstream, boom, before you know it's in your gut. Obesity, irritable bowel syndrome, the gut lining, lots of things there. Gluten. We could spend another 10, 15 minutes just talking about gluten and how that affects everything. But many, many, many things there. So I have a leaky gut situation that can be caused by gluten. I have a leaky brain situation where my blood-brain barrier is no longer as effective as it used to be, and I'm letting toxins and other crap into my brain. So when I start having a leaky gut problem, I end up with autoimmune diseases, or the option for the risk goes up. I have a leaky brain issue, now a lot of neurodegenerative opportunities exist. So a lot of inflammatory diseases, metabolic issues, systemic issues. It's that gut controls so many different parts of our body. Fatigue, definitely an issue. That's you have a sore tummy. Fatigue is, again, the gut's talking to the brain. You end up with too much sugar in your body, not enough fiber, antibiotics, toxins, stress, the diversity of our gut as far as the molecules that are down there, obesity, a lot of contributors to having gut damage, which usually results in some level of immune issues. So what can you really do? Well, many options. One, autophagy, that's a matter of fasting. Can be used for a number of people, but not necessarily for everyone. If you haven't done it in a while, talk to your doctor first, because if you're on some medications and whatever, you really need to know the rest of the story if you're going to fast and you're on something. But again, if you fast and something is wrong, stop. Don't go any further. Figure out what's wrong and then worry about it. So maybe you Workout this month. Okay, I'm going to do for 20-hour fast tomorrow. Okay, I'll eat whatever I'm going to eat in 4 hours. Okay, maybe next week I'll do a 30-hour fast. Now, it's work into it gradually. It's not something you need to do all the time, although I do mine once a month. Uh, Antioxidants, again, they miracle workers in the body. Nutrients, you want to make sure we have literally like 31 or 32 we really need to have on a daily basis. And when you have them there, your body just works like a miracle. Caloric restriction, we don't need all the calories we're taking in every single day. A lot of studies show that 30% reduction in what we think we need actually makes us healthier. Stabilize our glucose. Get good quality sleep. Sleep is where our bodies actually make all the repairs. You go out and you work out in the gym, you get some muscle issues and a little sore. That's when the body makes those repairs. You've got cellular issues that are going on here, there, and when you go to sleep, that's when your subconscious mind, turns on the switches for repairs, and everything starts to happen. So, moderate your exercise. If you need to overexert, okay, fine. If you got to go out and want to take a race or a marathon, whatever it is, do it. But you don't do that every single day. Manage your stress. Look at mitochondrial support. Probably the two biggest ones that I could tell you right now would be coenzyme Q10, ubiquinone, not ubiquinol. Ubiquinol will work, but CoQ10 and magnesium are probably two of the biggest ones. What's the other one from the red light, from infrared? Melatonin. A lot of things there support our mitochondria. Molecular support. Again, it's the nutrients we eat on a daily basis, but we need to get a good variety of proteins and the enzymes that come in there because the molecules need the support, and if it's not getting it, then we have a problem. So the driver of aging is damage, and if the better we can control the damage inside our bodies, the healthier we will look and the healthier we'll be. So if we can achieve some kind of sustained or even improve our ability to make repairs, it's going to treat us well in our later years. So our behaviors, our habits, our choices, they influence the damage, but they also influence the repairs. So biological damage can generally be fixed, but you got to do it quickly. You can't wait until you're 92 years of age and say, I really need to start working on this, because that biological damage when you're 45 versus 65 is a lot easier to fix, and you're not going through a lot of additional problems. We all, I think, pretty much desire a strong, healthy requirement. And I use the expression all the time. I don't want somebody changing my diaper for 5 years at the end of my life. That to me is not a good quality of life. It may not be a good quality of life for some people that have to have a cane or a walker or a wheelchair. We don't know right now what we don't know, and that's part of why we're having programs like the one I'm putting on. It's for awareness and education. It's to ask the questions and to know what actions to take. But again, talk to a professional. Particularly if you're on prescription meds, don't just do something willy-nilly. Make sure that you have some good knowledge. In many cases, it may be just talking to your pharmacist. Sometimes it's a whole lot easier to talk to your pharmacist than it is to your doctor, because doctors are sometimes really hard to get in touch with, and you don't get something back for a few days. But you can walk into a pharmacy and say, hey, doc, I'm taking this. I want to do this. I always ask I get a prescription med for something. I said, can I drink and drive with this? I'll tell you right now, 19 times out of 20, they'll say, yeah, you can. And it's funny because they are not listening. Can I drink and drive? No, you can't drink and drive. You shouldn't drink and drive. Can I? Physically, I'm able, yes. But again, it's people hear what they want to hear. They believe what they want to believe. But it's your body, it's your choice, and it really pays off in spades at the end of your life if you have the ability to do whatever you want to do. And that's about 13% of us that are really and truly in that capability. But we want to make intelligent decisions, but we want to monitor that those were good decisions to make, the actions taken, and follow up to make sure, okay, maybe I need a little bit more, maybe I need a little bit less, maybe I need a little bit longer time in between or shorter. New habits are hard to be consistent, but they're a must. They really are a must if you want to have a good, healthy retirement. My last slide for today, I have a book coming out called Aging Sucks, and it's going to be talking about the hallmarks of aging, the hallmarks of health, the hallmarks of disease, the pathways. I want to release this thing hopefully in June, July at the latest, but summer of this year. And based on the information I have in there, I'm planning some webinars, and I'd like to start as early as next month, end of next month, I'll keep you up to date on that one. But I'll be talking about various aspects of health and aging and disease. So take it from my book's going to be essentially a 5,000 to 30,000 foot presentation, macro level. This is what's going on. But if you want that ground level, what are my personal options? What can I take? I mentioned, CoQ10 and melatonin and things. We'll get into why are those things really important and what do they do. So it's easier to change, improve health if you start earlier. But sometimes we start early and then we have a problem that we get out of phase for a while. But you can always come back and restart. So I look forward to our continued discussion on aging. We're getting ready to conclude today's show, Talking Heads, the real driver of aging, damage versus repair. Again, keep the damage under control and enhance the repair operations as best you can. And this is Red O'Loughlin signing off for today, and I look forward to catching you as soon as I can next week. Bye now.
In a world full of noise, misunderstandings, and interruptions, master the art of listening with Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck is the listening mentor of USA Global TV and Radio and the Amazon #1 best-selling author of Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. Elevate your listening. Elevate your life. Join a global learning experience in person or via Zoom. Reserve your spot today. usaglobaltv.com/book-your-session or drjacalyn.thinkific.com. Join Dr. Kerbeck's listening courses or hire her to unlock deeper connections and authentic conversations. Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honored to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/USA Global TV. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting, we're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.